So Masters of the Universe / He-Man is like one of those weird lines to where it's kind of like Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers, because with Masters of the Universe, they haven't did anything cool or hip or modern with this at all lately, like Marvel, DC, or pretty much anything else that I collect. This is that weird thing that if you're into it, I don't know. I mean, I'm into it, so I guess I'm knocking myself, but I'm not that into it. Like, for instance, I have no clue who any of these figures are in this box. I simply just bought it because they're 3 characters that I don't have, and I thought they're going to look pretty good on the shelf. This was like an exclusive 3-pack, and if you didn't go to the show, you could have got it at an online store. And basically, you got Terror, Plasmar, and Lord Crasp, which they're just a mashup of whatever, and they're kind of pricey, but for some reason I went ahead and got it. Like, there's probably only one person out there that even knows who these are, and if you do know who they are, that's almost a little bit embarrassing to you, unless you're like Pixel Dan, which I'm far from him. So either way, I got that. I got this RamMan. RamMan was basically one of my favorite characters from back in the day. They remade him in orange. Orange is my favorite color, and I figured this would be a good way to display him with the alternate head, so I went ahead and picked him up. On the Skeletor, I basically have this figure already, but mine's missing a tooth, so I figured, what the hell, I'll go ahead and get a Skeletor as well. Lots of cool options, but I pretty much have all of them except for his teeth. And then He-Man, I got tons of He-Man. I never got this He-Man, and the reason why I never got this He-Man is because I wasn't real sure that I wanted to start this line because I'm not that into He-Man, so I came into it a little late, had to get a lot of these things on eBay. Some I got really cheap, and some I had to pay way too much for. So basically, let's get into it and check them out. Alright, so I got them all lined up for you can kind of check out the scale or the size of them, and they're basically pretty much exactly the same size, all standing about 6.5 inches tall, except for him because I put in the alternate neck. And if you do put in the alternate neck, be very careful because that pin kind of like weird, like broke off, but didn't really break off. So it's back in there, but it doesn't work as good as it should. So if you do put the neck in there, be very careful. Maybe try heating it up. Alright, first up we have this He-Man, and he does come with 2 other heads, and it's kind of hard to decide because I think all 3 of them are actually really good. So it's just basically look through the collection, see which head I'm already displaying, and then go with one of the other ones. So here's one of the other heads, and I wish I could hold them all 3 up at the same time, but I can't. And then this one, I kind of like this head that's already on them, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and leave that just because it kind of has more of that classic look to it. So I try to remember back from when I used to watch the show, and that's kind of what I want him to look like. So I think that one does it the best. He comes with an axe, which is pretty cool, sculpted nice. Like, these things aren't over sculpted, they're definitely not over painted, but that's what I like about this line. They just kept it real cartoony, real animated looking, and that's pretty much it. They could definitely improve on it because I'm really overlooking at this big hole for the pin and this slot, like the knee, the big single knee. Like, so the articulation on these things is definitely the weakest link, which is weird because you have like an ankle that moves, but they don't have a pin here, but then they have a pin here. So obviously they know how to put something together without a pin. It's like if Super 7 actually cared, they would take these same figures and just do a little bit better than they were already done before, which I don't really see them doing that. They're basically just kind of giving everybody a second chance, and when they make a character that you don't have, that's kind of a cool addition. And then you have the Skeletor. He also comes with 3 heads, which both of these heads are very similar. This one, the teeth are painted and the eyes kind of like protrude, like they stick out a little bit. This one kind of has like a little like the Deadpool thing going on the hood. This one is just smooth. I like this one a little bit better just because the teeth are painted. And he also comes with this Skeletor head, which I already have a killer display. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with the original head because mine's missing his tooth, and I'll show you that when I get over there. But here he is. Once again, it's a toy that you probably already have. I missed out on it, so it was a good opportunity for me to pick one up considering that this guy was like over $100 on eBay. I went ahead and stuffed as many swords as I could in his backpack, or his back sheath, whatever you want to call it, because if I don't put them with the figure, they just go in the accessory drawer, and that thing is getting kind of full. So here's the Skeletor. I always wanted another RamMan just for I could display one of each head, because I thought this head was cool, but this is just RamMan to me. He's one of my favorite characters. Like, to me, He-Man is all the cool classic figures like RamMan, Skeletor, He-Man, figures like that. The core characters, I really love those. It's just when you start getting a little outside of that is when the line gets kind of weird for me. This thing, basically the same as the one that most likely you already have. If you don't have it, this was also a great second chance. I do have the original. I'll put them up there, and when I do my video collection, I'll kind of show them with those. For this video isn't much longer than it has to be. He has a little clip for his axe, but then you have that weird hole in his hand, so you pretty much have to display him with the axe. Then you have Lord Crasp, which I probably just butchered his name really bad, but who cares? It is what it is. This figure is just kind of weird. He definitely looks like a homemade mashup, like just what you have laying around. The colors don't really match, but he's definitely going to stand out on my collection. He has this kind of like a ripped up cape on him. I think that actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm sure it's a cape that's over there on the shelf. I didn't really go through it to try to find out what was what. I figure it doesn't really matter. I bought it. I bought it because I thought they're cool and they're going to look great on the shelf, and they're new characters. I love putting new characters in my toy collection, so that's a must all the time. The shield clips right on. I'm not even sure if this snake thing goes with him, but I figured he's got an open hand, why not put it in it? And then the claw is spring-loaded, painted kind of odd, but hey. Then you have Plas, and it's just like, I love the legs on this, how they kind of painted them like a snake. The scales on there, I thought that was a really cool touch. The armor's cool. I like how they painted it green. On his forearms, he has this little spot where you can plug in these lasers, and I don't understand this one at all because I have no clue who this character is, but this one plugs in and it goes the opposite direction. At least I think I did that right. Who knows, maybe mine's defective. Maybe it's supposed to go on that top plug. I just wasn't real sure what that bottom plug was for, so I went ahead and stuck it in there, but I might change it out and put it in the top one, but then it kind of hit the gun. So I'm not real sure what to do with it. I just thought that that was kind of a weird touch on that one. But this guy's pretty cool. He basically looks like a figure that you already have, except for he has a really nice suntan. All right, now this one is by far my favorite one in the set, this Terror. I love the extended neck on this thing, but when I did pull it off, it doesn't really have like, it's got like a barbell thing on it, but the bottom one is kind of weird. So the bottom one came out, and I had a hard time getting it back in there. It is in there, but it doesn't really move that good anymore. The head, I can't really get that thing to move at all. But the articulation on these toys has never really been their strong suit. They're just real basic, got the big holes for the pins. If you don't know how the articulation works on these things, you probably shouldn't be watching this video, because it's a little too late for you to come into the game now. This tail thing is pretty cool. It basically, when you buy it, it's slipped around. All you got to do is slip it around. It looks like it should have wire in it. It doesn't. It just kind of sits like that, which I'm totally cool with, because he also is going to look really cool on the shelf. This arm is interchangeable. I like the big gun arm the best, although I really do like all these other ones. This one has a claw. The claw is articulated. I think that looks really cool. It does have a clip on it to clip on his belt, but I don't really see a belt to clip on it. Like, as far as like Trap Jaw goes, you can clip stuff all over him. Then this one has a hook, also has that little hook to hook on his belt, but he doesn't really have a belt. I don't really see a place to hook those on there. So unfortunately, those are going to go in the accessory drawer, and I'll probably never see them again. I'm going to throw these up on the collection, kind of put them with characters where I think they go. I'm probably going to screw that up. And then you get to see the collection while I'm doing it. Alright, so here's the Masters of the Universe collection. And as your collection grows, you're not really sure the direction that it's going to grow. So some of it gets a little cluttered, kind of like the snake area up here. Like, these guys are definitely really crammed in. It's because I didn't really think it was going to grow that much. There's the new 3-pack right there. Probably need to space those out a little bit better, because I got a lot of empty shelf space down here on the bottom, and man, look at that dust. So if you guys are asking how often I dust, like once every other year. So it's definitely about that time. So here's the collection. I'm going to try to show you the whole thing as I move along. fairly quickly. Here's the new Skeletor. And not like I was saying, now I got one with a tooth. The one right behind it came in that 2-pack with the dentist. So now I have one with a tooth and one without. So you see the difference there. One has painted feet, one doesn't. One has missing a tooth, one is not. Basically the same exact toy. You probably don't need 2 of them, but for some reason I do. And we're just going on down, kind of trying to go as slow as I can without it, or as quick as I can without it being too blurry. The castle, I have the old castle. I thought that would be cool to put them back to back, so that's kind of what I got going there. And then I got all of these older ones in the middle. They fit right in there. I actually really like that line. I wish it would have continued. But this line is really big and really expensive. Here's the RamMan down here, one of my faves. Now you can see the red one and the orange one, both heads. Definitely cool, glad I got both of them. And as far as the rest of the collection over here, there's the new He-Man right up front. I'm sure you guys probably already got that because you started off in the beginning. If you missed them, now you don't have to pay like $200 on eBay. You can get them for like 40 bucks. And then there's all the other He-Man back there. There's a bunch of them. I just don't have that exact one. And that was definitely one that I was missing. And now I'm glad that I got in my collection. There's my Masters of the Universe collection. And man, you probably won't see that again for a while because they only really come out with toys like once, maybe twice a year. There it is. Thanks for watching.